Imagine being just 16 years old. Most teenagers at that age are thinking about school, homework, or spending time with friends. But one young boy was standing in front of more than 70,000 football fans. Millions of people around the world were watching him on television. The pressure was enormous. The expectations were even bigger, yet he played with the confidence of a world champion. His name is Lamine Yamal. Many football experts believe he is one of the greatest young talents the sport has ever seen. Some even compare him to legends like Lionel Messi because of his incredible skill, calm mind, and fearless style of play. But his story did not begin inside the bright lights of a famous stadium. It began in a small neighborhood near Barcelona, Spain, a place where life was not always easy. His parents worked hard every day just to support their family. Money was limited. Every small opportunity mattered. Like many immigrant families, they dreamed of giving their son a better future than they had. No one could have imagined that the little boy kicking a football through narrow streets would one day become one of the biggest names in world football. His journey was filled with sacrifice. His family faced difficult times. His parents separated when he was still very young, but instead of giving up, they continued to support him with love, encouragement, and hope. Every practice session, every match, every challenge, helped shape the player the world now admires. Today, Lamine Yamal is not only one of Spain's brightest stars, he has become a symbol of hope for millions of young people who dream of changing their lives through hard work and determination. But who is the real Lamine Yamal? Who are the parents who raised him? How did a child from an ordinary neighborhood become one of the youngest superstars in football history? And what secrets from his childhood helped create the player we see today? This is not just the story of a football player, it is the story of a family, a dream, and a boy who refused to believe that anything was impossible. Let's travel back to the very beginning, where everything started long before the stadiums, the trophies, and the worldwide fame. Long before the football world knew the name Lamine Yamal, there was a young couple trying to build a better life. His story begins with his parents. His father is Monir Nasraoui. Monir was born in the city of Larake, on the northern coast of Morocco. Life there was not always easy. Like many young people, he dreamed of finding better opportunities for himself and his future family. That dream led him to Spain. Starting over in a new country was difficult. He had to learn a different way of life while working hard to earn a living. He took simple jobs, including painting buildings and other manual work. The hours were long, and the pay was modest, but he never stopped working. Lamine's mother, Sheila Bana, came from Equatorial Guinea, a small country on the west coast of Central Africa. She also moved to Spain, hoping for a brighter future. She worked in restaurants and other service jobs, spending long days on her feet to help support the family. When Monir and Sheila met, they shared the same dream. They wanted a safe home, they wanted a better future, and one day, they wanted to give their children opportunities they had never had. On July 13, 2007, that dream became a little brighter. Their son was born in Esplugues de Llobregat, near Barcelona, Spain. They named him Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Abana. His name has a special meaning. Before Lamine was born, the family faced serious financial struggles. During those difficult days, two kind people helped them when they needed it most. One man's name was Lamine, the other man's name was Yamal. To honor their kindness, his parents gave their son both names. It was their way of saying, "We will never forget those who helped us when life was hardest." This simple act tells us something important about Lamine's family. They believed in gratitude, they believed in remembering those who showed kindness, and those values would later become part of Lamine's own character. Although his parents worked hard, money was always tight. There were no expensive toys, no luxury vacations, no easy path to success. Every dollar they earned went toward paying bills, buying food, and giving their son the chance to have a better life. Football was never just a game for young Lamine. It slowly became a dream that brought the whole family together. His parents saw the joy in his eyes every time he touched the ball. Even after long days at work, they made time to encourage him, take him to training, and celebrate every small step forward. Neither of them knew that the little boy they were raising would one day wear the famous red and blue colors of Barcelona and represent Spain on the world's biggest stages. For now, he was simply a child with a big smile, endless energy, and a football that rarely left his feet. The greatest journey of his life was only beginning. Every great story begins somewhere. For Lamine Yamal, it began in a neighborhood called Rocafonda, in the city of Masia, just outside Barcelona. Rocafonda was not famous for football. It was known as a working-class neighborhood where many families had come from different parts of the world, searching for a better life. People from Morocco, Equatorial Guinea, Spain, and many other countries lived side by side. Life was simple. Many parents worked long hours. Money was often limited, but the neighborhood had something special. It was full of life. Children filled the streets every afternoon, laughter echoed through the parks, and football was everywhere. For young Lamine, the streets became his first football field. He did not need a perfect stadium. He did not need expensive equipment. All he needed was a ball. Sometimes the goals were made from backpacks, sometimes they were made from jackets or shoes. The rules changed every day. But one thing never changed. Lamine always wanted the ball at his feet. His family remembers that he could spend hours playing without getting tired. When other children wanted to go home, Lamine wanted one more game, then another, and another. Football was not just something he enjoyed, it became part of who he was. Neighbors quickly noticed the little boy with amazing footwork. He could dribble past older children with confidence. He played without fear. He smiled while others struggled to stop him. Even at a very young age, people could see that he was different. But talent alone was not enough. His parents taught him an important lesson. They reminded him to stay respectful, to listen to his coaches, to work hard every single day. They believed that good character was just as important as great talent. When Lamine was only 4 years old, his parents decided it was time for him to join a local football club called Rocafonda. For most children, the first training session can be frightening. Everything is new. New teammates, new coaches, new challenges. But Lamine looked completely at home. The ball seemed to follow him wherever he ran. His coaches were surprised by his balance, his quick thinking, and the way he understood the game. He played with joy, he played with confidence, and most importantly, he played with love. Every practice helped him improve. Every match made him stronger. His parents stood on the sidelines whenever they could. They cheered for every good pass, every smart decision, every goal. To them, success was not about becoming famous. It was about seeing their son happy. As the months passed, word about the talented young boy began to spread. Local coaches talked about him. Parents talked about him. Soon, people connected with one of the biggest football clubs in the world started paying attention. The famous scouts from FC Barcelona had heard about a special child playing in the local leagues. They wanted to see him with their own eyes. It was a moment that could change everything. For Lamine, it was just another chance to play the game he loved. He had no idea that one ordinary match was about to open the door to an extraordinary future. The streets of Rocafonda had given him confidence. Now, one of football's greatest academies was about to give him a chance that millions of children only dream about. For most children, playing for FC Barcelona is only a dream. For 7-year-old Lamine Yamal, that dream was about to become real. After months of outstanding performances with his local club, Rocafonda, Barcelona's youth scouts wanted to see him play. These scouts had watched thousands of young players over the years. Only a few ever received an invitation to join the club's famous academy. The academy is called La Masia. It is more than a football school. It is the place where legends are made. Some of the greatest players in football history, including Lionel Messi, Xavi Hernandez, Andre copyright S Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, and Gerard Piqué copyright, developed their skills there before becoming world famous. Now, another young boy was about to walk through those same doors. When Lamine arrived for his trial, he was calm. He did not try to impress anyone with fancy tricks. He simply played the football he loved. He passed with confidence. He dribbled with ease. He saw spaces on the field that many children his age could not see. Most importantly, he played as part of the team. The coaches were amazed. They saw something special, not just incredible talent. They saw intelligence, creativity, confidence, and a natural understanding of the game that is very rare in someone so young. Soon after, Barcelona offered him a place at La Masia. For Lamine and his family, it was one of the happiest moments of their lives. Their years of hard work, sacrifice, and hope were beginning to pay off. But joining Barcelona was only the beginning. Life at La Masia was very different from playing football in the streets of Rocafonda. The training sessions were faster, the players were stronger. Every child there had been the best player on their previous team. Now they were all competing for the same dream. Lamine quickly realized that talent alone would not be enough. He needed discipline, he needed patience, he needed to improve every single day. His coaches encouraged him to work on every part of his game: passing, ball control, decision-making, movement without the ball. They wanted him to become a complete football player, not just an exciting dribbler. Lamine listened carefully. He asked questions. He practiced after training whenever he could. Even at a young age, he understood that great players never stop learning. His teachers also made sure he stayed focused on his education. At La Masia, school and football go hand in hand. Players are expected to study, respect others, and behave responsibly. The academy believes that building good people is just as important as building great footballers. Lamine embraced those values. He stayed humble. He respected his coaches. He treated his teammates like family. Day after day, he continued to grow. His confidence increased. His skills became sharper. Every season, he looked stronger, smarter, and more complete than the year before. The coaches began to whisper among themselves, "This boy is different." Some believed they were watching one of the greatest young talents Barcelona had seen in many years. But Lamine ignored the praise. He knew that nothing had been achieved yet. His real goal was still far away. He wanted to wear the famous Barcelona first team jersey. He wanted to represent Spain, and he wanted to prove that a young boy from a small working-class neighborhood could reach the very top of world football. The road ahead would not be easy. There would be pressure. There would be expectations. But Lamine Yamal was ready for the challenge. His greatest test was about to begin. As the years passed, one thing became clear: Lamine Yamal was improving faster than anyone expected. At La Masia, players are grouped by age. Each season brings new teammates, new challenges, and tougher competition. But Lamine often looked like he belonged with players much older than himself. His coaches quickly noticed that he was ready for bigger tests. Instead of keeping him with children his own age, they began moving him up to older teams. It was not an easy challenge. The older boys were taller, they were stronger, they had more experience. But when the game began, age did not seem to matter. Lamine played with the same confidence he had shown in the streets of Rocafonda. He dribbled past defenders with ease. He created chances that others could not even imagine, and he always seemed to know what would happen before anyone else on the field. His vision amazed everyone. Many youth coaches later said that Lamine had a rare gift. He did not just react to the game, he understood it. He could see open spaces before they appeared. He knew when to pass, he knew when to dribble, and he knew exactly when to attack. These are skills that many professional players spend years trying to develop. Lamine showed them while he was still a child. As his reputation grew, people inside Barcelona began talking about him. Coaches shared videos of his performances. Club officials followed his progress closely. Every season, the excitement became even greater. Some quietly wondered if they were watching the next great player to come from La Masia. But with great talent came great responsibility. Barcelona's coaches were careful. They did not want to place too much pressure on such a young player. They reminded him to stay humble, to keep learning, to enjoy football. Lamine listened. He never believed that talent alone would make him successful. He trained hard every day. He arrived ready to learn, and he treated every practice as another chance to improve. Away from football, life remained simple. He stayed close to his family. His parents continued to support him, even though they no longer lived together. His mother and father celebrated every small step in his journey. They understood that becoming a professional footballer required more than natural ability. It required sacrifice, discipline, patience. Then came the moment that every young Barcelona player dreams about. One day, Lamine received incredible news. He had been invited to train with Barcelona's first team. Imagine being only 15 years old, standing in the same training session as some of the biggest stars in world football. For many teenagers, the moment would have been overwhelming. But Lamine stayed calm. He respected everyone around him. At the same time, he played with confidence. He did not hide. He did not play with fear. Instead, he showed exactly why Barcelona believed in him. Senior players were impressed by his maturity. The coaches saw that he was ready for something much bigger. The dream that had started with a football on the streets of Rocafonda was no longer just a dream. It was becoming reality. Soon, the phone would ring again. This time, it would bring the opportunity every young footballer hopes for, his first official match for one of the biggest clubs in the world. And once he stepped onto the field, football history would never be the same. For years, Lamine Yamal had imagined this moment. Every training session, every sacrifice, every challenge, had led him here. It was the spring of 2023. Lamine was only 15 years old. Most teenagers his age were still playing youth football. But Barcelona's head coach, Xavi Hernandez, believed Lamine was ready for something much bigger. Xavi had watched him grow through the academy. He had seen his confidence, his intelligence, his creativity. Most importantly, he trusted him. On April 29, 2023, Barcelona faced Real Betis in a Spanish league match. The stadium was packed with thousands of excited fans. Barcelona was already leading the game. Then, late in the second half, something unforgettable happened. Xavi called Lamine over. The young teenager stood near the sideline. His heart was racing. This was the moment he had dreamed about since he first kicked a football on the streets of Rocafonda. The fourth official raised the electronic board. Lamine Yamal stepped onto the field. At just 15 years and 290 days old, he became one of the youngest players ever to play for Barcelona's first team in an official match. The crowd welcomed him with loud applause. His teammates encouraged him, but once the game restarted, Lamine forgot about the noise. He focused only on the ball, and almost immediately, he showed everyone why Barcelona believed in him. He dribbled past defenders without fear. He moved with confidence. He asked for the ball, even though he was the youngest player on the field. One moment almost became magical. Lamine received the ball inside the penalty area. He took a quick shot. The goalkeeper made a brilliant save. It was not a goal, but it was enough. Fans inside the stadium stood and cheered. They had just seen a glimpse of the future. After the final whistle, Barcelona won the match. But many people were talking about only one player, the 15-year-old boy who looked completely comfortable playing with some of the best footballers in the world. News of his debut spread quickly. Sports channels talked about him. Newspapers featured his name on their front pages. Football legends praised his confidence. Many experts said Barcelona had discovered another once-in-a-generation talent. Lamine, however, stayed humble. He thanked his coaches, he thanked his teammates, and most importantly, he thanked his parents. He knew that without their love and sacrifices, this day would never have happened. His father felt proud. His mother watched with tears in her eyes. The little boy they had supported through difficult times had reached one of the biggest stages in world football. But Lamine understood something important. Making your debut is only the beginning. Staying at the top is the real challenge. He returned to training with the same attitude he had always carried. Work hard, stay humble, keep learning. The world had finally discovered Lamine Yamal, but his greatest achievements were still waiting for him. Very soon, he would not only make history for Barcelona, he would also wear the red jersey of Spain, break even more records, and prove that age is only a number when talent, courage, and dedication come together. Only a few months after making his dream debut for Barcelona, another life-changing moment arrived. This time, it was not Barcelona calling, it was Spain. For any football player, wearing the national team's jersey is one of the greatest honors. It means representing millions of people. It means carrying the hopes of an entire country. For Lamine Yamal, that honor came much earlier than anyone expected. Although his father was from Morocco and his mother was from Equatorial Guinea, Lamine had been born and raised in Spain. He had played for Spain's youth teams for several years. Now, the senior national team wanted him. In September 2023, Spain's head coach, Luis de la Fuente, included the 16-year-old in the national team squad. Football fans around the world were amazed. Many could not believe someone so young had earned a place among experienced international stars. On September 8, 2023, Spain played against Georgia in a European Championship qualifying match. As the game went on, Lamine stepped onto the field. With that appearance, he became the youngest player ever to represent Spain's senior national team. But he was not finished. Just a few minutes later, the ball came to him inside the penalty area. He stayed calm. He looked up, then he struck the ball with confidence. Goal! The stadium exploded with celebration. His teammates rushed toward him with huge smiles. The scoreboard had changed, but something even more important had happened. At just 16 years and 57 days old, Lamine Yamal became the youngest goal scorer in the history of Spain's national team. It was a record that had stood for decades. Now it belonged to a teenager who had only recently left Barcelona's youth academy. News spread across the world within minutes. Television networks replayed the goal again and again. Football legends congratulated him. Fans celebrated on social media. Everyone seemed to be asking the same question: could this young player become one of the greatest footballers of his generation? Despite all the attention, Lamine remained the same humble young man. After the match, he spoke more about the team than about himself. He thanked his coaches, he thanked his teammates, and he thanked his family for believing in him from the very beginning. His father smiled proudly. His mother watched another dream come true. Years of sacrifice, long workdays, financial struggles, and endless support had helped make this unforgettable moment possible. Back in Rocafonda, neighbors celebrated as if one of their own children had reached the top of the world, because in many ways, that was exactly what had happened. Lamine never forgot where he came from. Even after becoming an international star, he continued to celebrate his goals with the number 304. Those three numbers represent the postal code of Rocafonda, the neighborhood where his football journey truly began. It was his way of telling the world that success should never erase your roots. By the end of 2023, Lamine Yamal was no longer simply a talented teenager. He had become one of the brightest young stars in world football. Barcelona believed in him, Spain believed in him, and millions of football fans believed they were watching the beginning of something truly extraordinary. But the biggest tournament of his young career was still waiting. The summer of 2024 would change his life forever. The summer of 2024 was about to become unforgettable. Spain arrived at the UEFA European Championship with a talented squad. They had experienced players, strong defenders, creative midfielders, and among them stood the youngest player in the tournament, Lamine Yamal. He was only 16 years old. Many fans expected him to sit on the bench and learn from older teammates. Instead, he became one of Spain's most important players. From the very first match, Lamine played without fear. He attacked defenders with confidence. He created chances with incredible passes. He showed the same calmness that had amazed Barcelona's coaches. It did not matter who stood in front of him. He trusted his ability. With every game, the world became more excited. Football experts praised his intelligence. Former players admired his confidence. Fans could not believe that someone so young was performing at such a high level. Then came the semi-final. Spain faced France, one of the strongest teams in the world. Early in the match, Spain fell behind. The pressure was enormous. Millions of people were watching. Then, in one unforgettable moment, Lamine changed everything. He received the ball outside the penalty area. He looked up. He took one touch. Then he curled a beautiful shot toward the top corner of the goal. The goalkeeper stretched with all his strength, but he could not reach it. Goal! The stadium erupted with excitement. Commentators shouted with disbelief. Fans celebrated around the world. It was one of the greatest goals of the tournament. At just 16 years old, Lamine became the youngest player ever to score in the history of the UEFA European Championship. The goal was more than just a record. It inspired Spain. The team gained confidence. They fought back and won the match. Spain had reached the final, but one more challenge remained. In the championship match, Spain faced England. The pressure was greater than ever. Every pass mattered. Every mistake could decide the title. Lamine once again showed remarkable maturity. He stayed calm. He created dangerous attacks. He worked hard for his teammates. Although he was still a teenager, he played like a seasoned professional. When the final whistle blew, Spain had won the European Championship. The players celebrated together. Fans filled the streets with songs and flags. For Lamine Yamal, it was a dream beyond imagination. Just 1 year earlier, he had been making his first appearance for Barcelona. Now, he was a European champion. His performances throughout the tournament earned worldwide praise. Many experts called him the future of football. Others said the future had already arrived. At the end of the tournament, Lamine received the UEFA Young Player of the Tournament award. It was another historic achievement in a career that had only just begun. Yet, despite the trophies, the applause, and the worldwide fame, Lamine remained humble. He thanked his teammates, he thanked his coaches, and he thanked his family. He never forgot the small neighborhood of Rocafonda. He never forgot the sacrifices his parents made. He never forgot where his journey had started. The boy who once dreamed of becoming a football player had now inspired millions of children around the world. But fame also brought new challenges. Every match would now be watched more closely. Every mistake would make headlines, and every success would raise expectations even higher. The greatest test of Lamine Yamal's career was no longer reaching the top. It was learning how to stay there. When millions of fans see Lamine Yamal on the football field, they see the goals, they see the amazing dribbles, they see the young star wearing the famous Barcelona and Spain jerseys. But behind the fame, the trophies, and the cameras, there is still a young man who remembers his simple beginnings. Lamine Yamal has always stayed connected to his family. His parents played the biggest role in his journey. They were there before the fame, before the stadiums, before the world knew his name. His father, Monir Nazraoui, supported his dream from the beginning. Even when life was difficult, he encouraged Lamine to continue playing football. He understood that talent needed support. A young player needs someone who believes in him when the world does not yet see his potential. His mother, Sheila Bana, also played a special role in his life. She worked hard to provide for the family and made many sacrifices for her son's future. For Lamine, his mother represents strength and dedication. The journey to becoming a professional footballer was not only his journey, it was a family journey. Every training session, every early morning, every difficult moment was shared with the people who loved him most. Even after becoming famous, Lamine has continued to show respect and appreciation for his parents. He understands that success is never achieved alone. One of the most famous things about Lamine Yamal is his goal celebration. After scoring, he often makes a hand gesture showing the number 304. For many fans, it is a mystery. But for Lamine, it has a deep personal meaning. The number represents Rocafonda, the neighborhood where he grew up. It is a reminder of his roots, a reminder of the streets where he first played football, a reminder of the people who supported him before he became famous. Many athletes change after achieving success. They move away from their past. But Lamine chooses to carry his past with him. The 304 celebration is his message to the world. Never forget where you came from. Although football takes up most of his time, Lamine is still a young person. He enjoys spending time with family and friends. He likes listening to music. He enjoys moments away from the pressure of professional football. Like many teenagers, he values simple moments. Laughing with friends, talking with family, enjoying life outside the stadium. But his lifestyle is very different from most people his age. Because of his success, he must handle responsibilities that many adults face. Every interview, every match, every social media post, millions of people are watching. This level of attention can be difficult, especially for someone who became famous so young. But Lamine has shown maturity beyond his years. One of the qualities people often mention about Lamine is his humility. Despite becoming one of football's biggest young stars, he does not act like he has already achieved everything. He continues training, he continues learning, he continues improving. His coaches often remind him that talent can open the door, but hard work keeps you inside. Lamine understands this. He knows that football history is full of talented players who disappeared because they stopped working. His goal is not only to become famous, his goal is to become one of the greatest players ever. Lamine Yamal's story has inspired millions of young players, especially those who come from ordinary neighborhoods. Children who play football on streets, children who dream of something bigger. His journey shows that greatness can come from anywhere. You do not need to be born into wealth. You do not need a perfect beginning. Sometimes, all you need is passion, dedication, and people who believe in you. From the streets of Rocafonda to the biggest stadiums in the world, Lamine Yamal carries the story of every child who has ever dreamed of becoming a football star. But with success comes pressure. The world now expects greatness from him every time he steps onto the field. The next chapter of his journey will reveal how he handles the challenges that come with becoming one of football's brightest stars. Behind every superstar, there are thousands of small moments that shape their journey. Lamine Yamal's story is not only about goals and trophies, it is also about the little details that make him unique, the decisions he made, the people who inspired him, and the qualities that helped him rise to the top. Let's explore some fascinating facts about the young football sensation who has captured the attention of the entire world. Lamine Yamal became famous because of one incredible fact. He reached the highest level of football while still a teenager. At an age when many young players are still trying to enter professional football, Lamine was already playing against some of the best athletes in the world. His confidence surprised many fans. He did not look like a player who was afraid of the big stage. He looked like someone who belonged there. Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia, has produced some of the greatest footballers in history. Players like Lionel Messi, Xavi, and brightest Iniesta learned their football there. Lamine Yamal became another special name connected to this famous academy. But La Masia is not only about football skills. It teaches discipline, teamwork, respect, and responsibility. These lessons helped shape Lamine both as a player and as a person. Many young players are talented, but Lamine has a special combination of abilities. He is known for a sense quick movements, a sense excellent ball control, a sense creative passing, a sense strong decision making, a sense confidence against defenders. His left foot is one of his biggest weapons. He can create danger from wide positions and often find solutions when the game becomes difficult. His style is exciting because he plays with freedom and imagination. One thing that makes Lamine special is his creativity. Some players follow the same patterns every game. Lamine likes to create something unexpected, a surprising pass, a quick movement, a different way to attack. This creativity comes from years of playing football in the streets. Street football teaches players to think quickly. There are no perfect fields, no perfect rules. Players must use their imagination. Those experiences helped develop Lamine's unique style. Many famous athletes forget their early struggles after becoming successful. Lamine has chosen a different path. He continues to represent Rocafonda with pride. The 304 celebration after his goals has become a symbol of his connection with his childhood home. For many young people in that area, Lamine is proof that dreams can become reality. Throughout his early career, Lamine has broken several age records. He became one of Barcelona's youngest first-team players. He became Spain's youngest senior international player. He became Spain's youngest goal scorer. And during Euro 2024, he became the youngest player ever to appear and assist in the tournament. Each record represents a different moment in his incredible journey. Fame brings opportunities, but it also brings pressure. Every match is analyzed. Every mistake becomes news. Every performance is compared with football legends. For someone so young, handling this pressure is a huge challenge. But Lamine has shown patience and maturity. He understands that becoming great requires time. He does not want to be remembered only as a young talent. He wants to build a long and successful career. Like many footballers, Lamine grew up watching great players. He admired the creativity of players who could change a match with one moment of brilliance. Many fans see similarities between his style and some of the greatest attacking players in football history. However, Lamine wants to create his own identity. He does not want to copy anyone. He wants people to remember the name Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal represents a new generation of football, a generation where players come from different cultures and backgrounds. His story connects Morocco, Equatorial Guinea, and Spain. It shows how football can bring people together. His journey is a reminder that talent can appear anywhere, a small neighborhood, a simple football, a child with a dream. That is how many legends begin. Lamine Yamal's story is still being written. He has already achieved things that many players dream about their entire careers. But he knows the hardest part is still ahead. The next years will test his mentality. Can he handle the pressure? Can he continue improving? Can he become one of football's greatest legends? Only time will answer these questions. But one thing is certain, the world is watching, and the story of Lamine Yamal has only just begun. Every dream has a beautiful side, the trophies, the celebrations, the applause from millions of fans, but behind every great success, there is another story, a story about pressure, sacrifice, and challenges that the world does not always see. For Lamine Yamal, becoming a football superstar at such a young age has brought incredible opportunities. But it has also created a heavy responsibility. At only 16 and 17 years old, he was already carrying expectations that many experienced players struggle with. Every time he touched the ball, millions of eyes were watching. Every match became a test. Every performance was judged. The world wanted to know, can this young player continue to perform at the highest level? When a young player becomes famous, people often expect perfection. They forget that behind the football shirt is still a young person learning and growing. Lamine faced comparisons with some of the greatest players in history. Some fans compared his style to legends. Others questioned whether he could handle the pressure. These comparisons can be exciting, but they can also become a burden. Football history has many examples of young talents who started brilliantly but struggled because expectations became too heavy. Lamine understood that he needed patience. He knew he did not have to become a legend overnight. Great careers are built over many years. The hardest part of becoming a star is not reaching the top. It is staying there. Defenders began studying his movements. Opposing teams created special plans to stop him. Every match became more difficult. The surprise factor disappeared. Now, Lamine had to prove himself again and again, but this challenge also helped him grow. Difficult matches taught him new lessons. Mistakes helped him improve. Pressure helped him become stronger mentally. Professional football is demanding. Players must train almost every day. They must recover quickly. They must protect their bodies from injuries. For a young player like Lamine, managing his physical condition is extremely important. His coaches carefully monitor his training and playing time. They understand that protecting a young talent is just as important as developing one. The goal is not only success today, the goal is a long and successful career. Fame changes life outside the football field. Before becoming famous, Lamine could walk through his neighborhood like any other teenager. After becoming a global star, every step became news. Fans wanted photos, journalists wanted interviews, social media followed every moment. This attention can be difficult for anyone, especially for someone who became famous during his teenage years. But Lamine has learned to handle the spotlight. He tries to focus on football and the people who support him. One of Lamine Yamal's greatest challenges is remembering who he is. The money, the fame, the awards, all of these things can change a person's life. But his family continues to remind him about his roots. They remind him of Rocafonda. They remind him of the difficult years. They remind him that success comes from hard work. These lessons help keep him grounded. Behind every great athlete is a team of people. For Lamine, that team includes his family, coaches, teammates, and everyone who helped him along the way. His parents played a major role. They supported him before anyone knew his name. They believed in him when he was just a child with a football. Their support gave him confidence during difficult moments. Lamine Yamal has already achieved what many players only dream about, but he knows the journey is far from finished. The future will bring new challenges, more pressure, more expectations, more difficult moments, but it will also bring new opportunities, new victories, new memories. The young boy from Rocafonda has already shown the world his talent. Now, he must show something even more important, character, because true legends are not created only by talent, they are created by how they respond when the world is watching. And Lamine Yamal's greatest chapter may still be waiting to be written. Every football legend begins with a dream, a child, a ball, and a belief that something impossible can become possible. For Lamine Yamal, that dream started on the streets of Rocafonda. A young boy from a simple neighborhood never imagined that millions of people around the world would one day know his name. He did not grow up surrounded by luxury. He did not have an easy path. His family worked hard, his parents made sacrifices, and every small step forward required determination. But Lamine had something powerful, a dream that was bigger than his circumstances. Today, he stands among the brightest young talents in world football. But his journey is only beginning. Football is always changing. Every generation creates new heroes, players who inspire children, players who make fans believe in magic again. Lamine Yamal represents a new generation, a generation that plays with creativity, confidence, and freedom. His style reminds fans why they love football, because sometimes, one player can change the feeling of an entire match. One dribble, one pass, one moment of brilliance can create memories that last forever. Lamine has already achieved incredible things at a very young age. He has played for Barcelona, he has represented Spain, he has won major trophies, he has broken records. But true legends are not measured only by early success. They are measured by consistency, by dedication, by how they perform when challenges become greater. The road ahead will not always be easy. There will be difficult matches. There will be criticism. There will be moments when he must prove himself again. But every great player faces these moments. The difference between good players and legends is how they respond. Behind Lamine's success is a family story, a story of hard work, a story of sacrifice. His father and mother gave him support when he was only a child chasing a dream. They believed in him before the world knew his name. They taught him important lessons: stay humble, respect others, never forget your roots. These lessons will continue to guide him throughout his career, because talent may make someone famous, but character determines how long they stay successful. The most powerful part of Lamine Yamal's story is not only what he has achieved, it is what he represents. For young children watching him today, his journey sends a powerful message. Your beginning does not decide your ending. A child from a small neighborhood can reach the biggest stadiums in the world. A dream can become reality, but only through dedication, patience, and hard work. The story is still being written. Many chapters of Lamine Yamal's career are still waiting to be written. Will he win more trophies? Will he become one of football's greatest players? Will future generations talk about him the same way they talk about the legends of the past? Only time will answer these questions. But one thing is certain, the world has already witnessed something special. A young boy who carried a football through the streets of Rocafonda. A teenager who stepped onto the biggest stages without fear. A player who showed that age is not a limit when passion and talent come together. This is the story of Lamine Yamal, not just a football player, but a symbol of hope. A reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. And sometimes, the greatest legends begin as ordinary children with extraordinary dreams. The journey of Lamine Yamal has only just begun.